It is time to leave your worries outside and laugh with us inside the Treehouse. I'm Dan O'Malley along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Just a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving. I believe we have a lot to be thankful for here inside the Treehouse, not the least of which is you, the very, very fine listener of this program. We appreciate you very, very much. And I think we can also be glad and thankful that we're not in Russia.
Yes.
Just kind of in general, not really high on my places that I'd like to visit someday. But more specifically, I don't feel like being conscripted into the Russian army and fighting in a war that I don't want to be in. But don't tell that to the soldiers of North Korea that are currently in Russia fighting alongside Russian soldiers, because apparently North Korean soldiers, they are prepared to die in Russia if called to do so. However, while most people might think that it would be dying in service to which whatever the jerk's name is, Kim Jong-un. It's
Kim
Un,
Jong-un,
right? Kim Jong-un.
yeah.
Okay.
Il was the father.
That's right. Yeah. Based on the news we heard a few days ago, I don't think that the Korean soldiers are ready to die for dear leader Kim Jong-un. Trey, why do you think they're so prepared to die in Russia?
Because they found the promised land.
Let that sink in. North Korea is so bad that North Korean soldiers are loving it in Russia. And probably not so much for the weather or the Airbnbs or the buffets, but instead the porn that you know that they are just absolutely tearing themselves up for. Because in North Korea, you don't get that. And I don't think in North Korea they're familiar with VPNs. The way that those of us in Texas have had to become very familiar with trying to skirt around those stupid laws. Because once the North Korean soldiers, as we reported here inside the Treehouse, we're a hard news network, by the way. Once the North Korean soldiers got into Russia, the whole world of online entertainment opened up to them like a beautiful flower. Or like Jenna Presley.
Yeah, they're probably getting like one meal a day and porn, and they can die happy now.
Oh yeah, they got food in their bellies.
Yeah,
and porn everywhere else.
A little borscht and Pornhub. That's a solid day.
I mean, it really was. The headline was just a few days ago: North Korean soldiers gorging themselves with adult content while stationed in Russia. And so when you see a headline like this, why North Korean soldiers are prepared to die in Russia, we know the answer is for the porn. And if we're being honest, as the three heterosexual dudes kind of get it. I understand it.
Well, especially growing up in the 80s where all of us, going back to the days when you had a VHF and UHF, knob on your TV, and the UHF around midnight, channel 21 here generally, that would all of a sudden be the scrambled softcore. But if you played with that dial just right, you might see a nipple, and that was the promised land.
Yeah,
and that's all the North Koreans have had for years.
I know.
It's also the reason why you wear glasses, because you spent so much time, Trey, looking between those scrambled pink and blue and green lines on the television just to see one nip.
Don't you leave him out.
Yeah.
And
He's
you,
my-
Raj, the reason why you too wear glasses.
Yes. You played with that dial, and then you got to play with your dial. So that's how
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, we were playing with the dial. You were playing with your big pencil.
Did it say Danny too?
I just appreciate you saying my name and big in the same sentence.
I'm just saying, pierogies and porn is a solid Monday. Like that's.
I mean, do you want to go back to North Korea after you've been enlightened to the world of porn? When your eyes have been opened wider than Houston at a bukkake party?
I'm just saying, like, it was one Russian soldier that was like, "Hey, man, come here, let me show you something," and then he showed that one guy, and he was like, "I'll be right back." Yeah, it's like I have 900 more people to show this to.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. And Trey, you bring up a great point that I want to make with this story with North Korean soldiers absolutely gorging themselves on porn while stationed in Russia. Is we're all children of the 80s here in the Treehouse. So we started with the scrambled TV porn. We had to look between the lines, or you had to find a buddy's dad's magazine, or all these different methods in which you would learn and see adult things. And then we had the slow progression into where we are now, which is on-demand porn anytime, all the time, whenever you want, ready to go when you are.
Mm-hmm.
These North Korean soldiers didn't have that gradual buildup.
No.
They got to Russia, and one day the skies opened up, and it was like a golden light from Pornhub shone out of the phone that the Russian soldier was showing them, and they lost their damn minds.
Well, but think about it, because you're talking. We had, let's go back, Sears catalog, Victoria's Secret catalog, sneaking your dad's Playboy, then scrambled, the scrambled nipple, then softcore, the Emmanuel movies, and all that other stuff. Then.
And holding out for an HBO free movie weekend, or even better, an HBO Cinemax free movie weekend. Oh my God.
Then VHS, then DVD, and then porn on demand. I mean, there were a lot of levels that, the mountain we had to climb to get to where we are now. They just, got thrown to the top, and now they're jumping off.
Yeah. There's a reason why they say you need to ease people into things, because it's a sudden jolt to the senses to be overwhelmed with all this stuff. I mean, there's a reason why when you get released from prison, they put you in a halfway house first, because you're not ready to go all the way in or back into society. You got to kind of ease it in. Same thing with North Korea. They were just thrown into the Pornhub end.
So you would you just want to get them like before the North Koreans got the porn on the phone, you wanted to give them like a laser disc, or like how are you?
I mean, something to get them prepared a little bit, because I mean, that's a lot to take in. That's a lot to handle.
Yeah. And then you got to find out like what you're like. That's a weird way to find out what you're into, like in the midst of war. Be like, hey, you know what? I know there's people shooting at us, but that dude's got great feet. Like, like that's a weird juxtaposition, right? Like, I know he's trying to kill me.
But I was just thinking, well, the ending of Shawshank could have really changed. Red was here.
I want to hit the go home music so bad right now.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you are in the market for a new vehicle, you need to go to fairlease.org. Go to fairlease.org. You can get the phone number to Fairlease, give them a call, shoot them an email, fill out the little get a quote thing. All sorts of fun stuff to do at fairlease.org, including checking out their inventory. And if the vehicle you are looking for is there, they will bring it to you. You don't have to waste a bunch of time at a dealership or hunting down a salesperson. No, they're going to be right there for you. And if the vehicle you want is not currently in their inventory, no big deal. You know why? They're just going to go get it for you. All while you do whatever it is you want to do. Go to work, go to the gym, go to Russia. Whatever the case is, you can do whatever it is you want to do while Fair Lease goes and does all the legwork for you. They'll go get that vehicle and bring it to you. And when it comes time to sign all the paperwork and everything, you can do that at your convenience as well remotely. Everything is about you, the customer, when it's time to get a new vehicle and lease it from Fair Lease. Lease the new vehicle because it will save you money as well. And check out our friends. We highly recommend it. Check out our friends at Fair Lease. Good people, local company, making sure that you save time and money on your next vehicle, leasing the no-hassle way with Fair Lease. Go to that website, fairlease.org. Once again, the website, fairlease.org. Go take a look right now.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You can get even more Treehouse than what you get now for free. Just go to treehouseonair.com, like Aaron said, or go to our Patreon, patreon.com/treehouseonair, and get even more Treehouse content, bonus episodes, mini episodes, other fun stuff available. 3 different tiers to subscribe to, deeper inside the Treehouse with Treehouse Plus, Treehouse Super Plus, and Ultimate Treehouse to get all the stupid at patreon.com/treehouseonair. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate it. If you are a North Korean soldier or just any other person with a cell phone running around with, Wi-Fi and being able to look at whatever it is you want to on your phone, it might be time for a digital detox. I know, I will freely admit, I will raise my hand. I spend way too much time on my phone. I will justify it wrongly or rightly. I don't know, but I try to justify it by saying, well, a lot of it's for work, because if it wasn't for the job that we do here, I don't think I would spend near as much time online or on my phone that I do. That being said, I'm still on it too damn much. And Raj, you're giving me the smirk, like, get the F out of here.
Yeah, I think you would be. Work is a good excuse, and I do the same, because I'm like, well, I got to look at stuff because I have to put it on my Instagram, because that's how I'm building the followers and blah 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 blah.
Right.
But then there's times where, like, it's just at night, and I'm just going down a YouTube rabbit hole of fun stuff. I'm doing this thing now where I actively, like, put my phone down or put it across the room, and leave it be. So
I think that's
trying my
wise.
best. Yeah.
I think that's wise. And look, and we've talked a lot about those North Korean soldiers in Russia who are gorging themselves on porn. They could use a digital detox. And I'll admit that I could probably use a digital detox. But I'm really curious to see if Google releases the trends that the North Korean soldiers have been searching, porn or otherwise. I'm just curious, if you've never had internet before, what do you suddenly start searching? I'm curious to see that, and I would absolutely look at that. But I would also justify it by saying, well, it's for work.
Well, I think the North Koreans are safe from Google in Russia, being that, Russia levied that, was it like $10,000,000 fine?
Yeah, they didn't like that Google was shadow banning or outright banning some of their state-run media accounts. So I don't know if Google works in Russia. Whatever the equivalent to Google is in Russia, Google, I don't know. I didn't write anything for this. I would like to know what it is they're searching for. I'm curious.
They did imprison, like, the guy who founded their version of Facebook. He has been imprisoned as well. So
You don't say.
yeah, so I don't think you're going to be able to add him as a friend. But I don't know whatever their server is. Obviously, the Russian military showed the North Koreans porn, and now I'm assuming they didn't understand, like, the monster that they would create by doing this. But
Including the porn with monsters.
yeah, again, like, that's when you find out you're into weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like, who knew I was into that?
I mean, do they? Because the Japanese are notoriously into some weird stuff. because it's Asian? Did they automatically go to that really weird stuff, or did they gradually build up to
Yeah.
it?
Or
Yeah.
did they start with the South Korean baseball cheerleaders?
Could be, but as soon as they get to like the varying different sizes of porn stars junk that is out there, they might go back. They might go backwards and start over again because they'll
Or
see.
just use it as inspiration to really supercharge their missile program.
Yeah, if they start getting shaped weird, we'll know where the influence came from.
When they write a memo to dear leader, have a name for new rocket, BBC. Strike fear in heart of America. But if you are in need of a digital detox, like perhaps the North Korean soldiers probably are, life in the digital world can be rewarding. We all know that. It's convenient to order groceries for pickup, share photographs, music, keep in touch with family and friends, whatever the distance, doesn't matter. However, it can also be draining. The feeling of being constantly on and productive has driven people to reconsider their balance in the saturated digital world. More than 70% of American adults are concerned about how technology affects their mental health and personal relationships. This worry is reinforced through media that point to people's unhealthy habits with social media and phones. So what do? Digital detoxing is gaining popularity. Nearly half of Americans report they're making a conscious effort, like you, Raj, to regularly step away from their screens. But is it enough? 62% of Americans confess to feeling addicted to their devices and fall short of the digital detox. So what do? There are a few recommended steps. Number 1, find replacement practices. Like for the North Korean soldiers, war. Dodge bullets. That's a good, digital detox method. Just, duck and cover, run, hide, all that kind of stuff. Many turn their devices when they're bored, stressed, kind of like an adult pacifier. So replacement practices often involve hobbies or activities that result in play. Like as adults, people sometimes forget what it's like to have fun. Right?
Mhm.
So finding replacement practices. Number 2, shoring up social bonds. We're inherently social creatures. And if you have the digital connection, sometimes you just need to remember to put the phone down and actually maybe go have a cup of coffee with a friend. Number 3, emphasizing mindfulness. I have a Apple Watch. I didn't ask for it. My wife got a 2-for-1 last time we were at the AT&T store, so now I've got one. And every so often, it tells me that I need to be more mindful. And all I want to do is tell it to shut the up, and I can't figure out how to turn it off. How's that for irony? I have a device telling me to be more mindful about things.
So it knows when you're not being mindful, is what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It seems judgy when it does it as well.
Yeah, I would take it that way too.
Yeah. Also, number 4, viewing digital well-being as an ongoing journey. In other words, it's not going to happen immediately. It's progress. It's baby steps. It's a journey. You're not going to fix it in one fell swoop. So there you go. Those are the tips for your digital detox. I think at some point, if you're that addicted to your phone, we might as well go to an Alcoholics Anonymous type model where you get a chip for however many minutes you've been phone sober instead of years, the way it is with, drugs and alcohol. Well, I don't think anyone could go years without being on their phone.
But doesn't it tell you like this is how much time you've spent this week on your phone? Like mine does. Like this is how many hours you've spent this week, and it's less than the week before or more than the week before, or whatever. And so you can kind of gauge that.
Or if you're like me and mine just gave up and stopped telling me because I'm always just wait.
You could turn that feature off.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I just keep mine on and go, okay, well that was I'm on 40, like it was, I think it was 42 minutes less last week than the week before. And I thought that was good because when I take my dogs for a walk, I don't take my phone with me.
And that's good. You're getting outside. You're doing all the things you should do for a digital detox. For me, though, sometimes I'll take my phone to the gym, and if I'm on the elliptical or the treadmill, I'll watch something on my phone, and my phone counts that against my screen time.
Yeah, but don't they also have the TVs? Don't they have TVs in the gym that you can watch stuff?
I don't like their channels.
Oh, okay.
Let me put it this way: it's difficult enough as it is to watch The Boys on my phone.
Mhm.
You cannot have that show on one of the TVs at the gym. It just cannot happen.
Yeah, that's I think that's just the rating and the content. I understand. Okay, so you like to watch violent superheroes while getting your cardio up. I gotcha. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, I mean, but there's other things you could do, like when you're cooking your your morning breakfast or lunch or whatever. You can put your phone down and do that, and eat your lunch without looking at your phone. Can you do that?
Yeah,
Okay. See, that's
but
part.
then I'll watch TV, and that's another screen. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not the phone.
I-
You're
I try to read, and I'll be the first one to admit there's some days where it's hard. Like you because let's say you just get a message on your phone, and then you look at it. Well, then all of a sudden you're checking Instagram, and then and then 20 minutes later you've gone. You're scrolling
Yeah.
through, and it is definitely an addiction that can get out of hand.
And I
Yes.
know it can for Trey because I've seen his TikTok dance routines.
I knew that one Korean cheerleader looked familiar. It was you.
Love Trey and fishnets.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Did you know that you can talk back to us right here inside the Treehouse? It is true. Go to treehouseonair.com. Look down to the lower right-hand side of the page, and you'll see a little microphone down there. You can actually click on that and leave us a message that we will get right here inside the Treehouse. So do the Treehouse talkback. treehouseonair.com. Click on the microphone, leave us a message. Anything you want, be about something that we talked about on the show or something that you think we need to talk about, or just, say hi, whatever the case is. Do that at treehouseonair.com. All right, gentlemen, back inside the Treehouse now, and it appears the possibility of World War III is upon us. And once again, Germany might be the start of it, but at least not in the way that we're historically used to. Trey, you're wagging your finger.
Well, every great war has one constant, especially in the 20th century.
Germany.
No. No.
Germans?
Every great war starts with the French getting their ass whipped.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, then I'm curious to see if this story lends itself to your French theory, because apparently Nazi raccoons have descended in Germany, and Germany's now declaring war on raccoons. I'm afraid to know how they know they're Nazis, but I guess we'll find out. So yes, Germany has declared war on raccoons. With his onyx eyes ringed by black fur, Muffin the raccoon resembled a masked robber.
It sounds like a really bad novel.
It does. The fascinating creature was nibbling his breakfast at a raccoon sanctuary in central Germany, where he's lived since his mother was killed by a car 5 years ago. And the person who writes this says, I was seized with guilt. The previous day, I had tucked into sausages, meatballs, and burgers made from one of Muffin's kith and kin. No doubt this will disgust many readers, and I too balked at eating one of the bushy-tailed rascals my grandchildren love to see in Disney cartoons and David Attenborough documentaries. Reinventing the raccoon as a gourmet delicacy is being suggested as a solution to one of Europe's strangest and most intractable environmental problems, the Great Raccoon Invasion of Germany. Yeah.
So they're eating them now.
Well, that's one way to get rid of them. A century ago, there were few, if any, raccoons living in the wild in Germany, but the highly sexed critters breed rapidly, and after a few were released during the Nazi regime, they began multiplying at a dizzying rate. So I guess that's why they're Nazi raccoons. Astonishingly, experts believe up to 2 million of the bushy-tailed blighters are now running amok in Germany, decimating wildlife and even attacking people and wrecking homes. Some argue they should be culled by commercial hunting and sold alongside the bratwurst in supermarkets. So it seemed imperative to try the meat, as this writer says. Then he goes on to talk about how it's chewy, gamey, and thinks the guy that writes this thinks it's kind of delicious. So basically, raccoons have taken over since Nazi Germany, and Germany's answer is to not only kill them, but let's turn them into a food delicacy.
Okay.
So just imagine on your next, I don't know, visit to Germany, you going to a high-end restaurant and asking how their raccoon is this evening.
That is you have hillbillies everywhere going, see, we told you. Like that's like that's what's gonna happen. Like we told you. And I couldn't like the French eat horse. Like I can't do that.
Yeah.
The Japanese eat horse. I can't. Raccoon. I'll pass.
I know it's weird because different cultures around the world, if it's got 4 legs, some cultures see that as food. Period. And if desperate enough, maybe 2 legs is considered possibly food. But yeah, I mean, those of us in America, we're very fortunate in that we don't necessarily have to look at the cute creatures as food.
I mean, I did see a video of how, like, I want to say it was either Vietnam or Thailand, where they were in a rice field and they were catching field mice, and that was and by the thousands, and that was going to be a big feast for the village. I was like, so
isn't there like disease and like parasites and stuff that they carry?
I guess if you
all
cook
of
it
them.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I could be convinced. I like to think that I have a wide culinary palate. But I don't think you could convince me to eat raccoon. I don't think times have gotten that hard.
No.
That you could convince me to. Would you eat it? Would you eat raccoon sausages?
No, not willingly. I will say, if you were going to get me to try a meat that I wouldn't otherwise want to try, sticking in a sausage is probably the best way.
So as long as it's like some sort of fair food, you would like raccoon corn dogs.
You know what? I think the State Fair of Texas, if it's taught us anything, is that if you deep fry it and stick it on a stick, it's probably tasty. Just imagine the photos in front of Big Tex next year.
Just a claw sticking out.
What you got there? It's a bandit corny dogs.
It was digging through my trash. Now it's a corn dog.
Look, air fryers can do amazing things.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Yes, indeed. Go to treehouseonair.com. You can also find and follow us on social media. Follow the Treehouse at Treehouse on Air. That's our handle across all social media platforms. It's at Treehouse on Air. Again, at Treehouse on Air. One Florida sheriff is coming for the fun massage parlors. 20 massage therapists in Florida are being accused of offering sex acts to undercover detectives during a sting. And this sting in Florida was called Operation Skin So Soft. I have audio here from Sheriff Grady Judd, who headed up the Operation Skin So Soft fun massage parlor bust.
The lesser known Judd.
Yeah. The other Judd. he gave his assessment of the bust of the fun massage parlor in Florida. And he had some interesting, candid takes on the situation.
Undercover would say, no, just a massage. So on 3 different occasions, she continued to try to come back and upcharge him to engage in sex. She stood in front of the door, so he...
Had she just kept the rate normal, it would have been fine by Florida law.
The damn upselling.
Yeah, but they don't take kindly to upselling in Florida. They just want flat fee. Yeah.
The undercover would say, no, just a massage. So on 3 different occasions, she continued to try to come back and upcharge him to engage in sex. She stood in front of the door so he couldn't leave. And then she tried to hold him.
All right, if we're being honest here, this doesn't sound like a shady massage parlor. This sounds more like a used car lot on Division Street in Arlington, Texas, or someone trying to get you to buy their Pampered Chef products out of no. This doesn't. I don't know. I don't have any experience in these places, so I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, she stood in front of the door so he couldn't leave.
Yeah, I mean that's an aggressive sales tactic.
Yeah,
like I don't think if you're a customer of this place that's the kind of masseuse that you want doing that. If they're basically forcing you to give them money and do it, that doesn't sound right.
I know. She was, if there's like a, let me talk to my manager, see what I can do for you, and just walks out of the room and comes back.
Yeah.
So,
and the manager comes back with her. It's like, well, we've been talking and we have an idea here for you.
We'll rub, but we're not going to tug.
Say, no, just a massage. So on 3 different occasions, she continued to try to come back and upcharge him to engage in sex. She stood in front of the door so he couldn't leave. And then she tried to hold him down. This is a big undercover detective. And
you let me. I'm sorry. That doesn't even sound real. Like with one hand, she's holding him down on with his like by the chest, and the other hand.
He's like, no, please stop.
No, she held me down. You're 6'4" and 270 pounds. What can I say? She's really strong.
It's those hands.
This sounded so. Yeah, recently there was a North Texas municipality that just had to let go of some officers and discipline some officers because in a sting of massage parlors that they felt I guess they fell victim to the high pressure sales tactics.
Mm-hmm. They got caught up.
Yeah, this sounds like this sounds like this was this should have been their defense.
Sometimes you just get a really good deal. Like
Sarge,
only way I could get out.
She held me down.
I had a coupon.
She held me down with 2 fingers.
The sting has been over. You've come here every day for the last 2 weeks.
I really believe in public safety.
Might have been 5 foot tall. She wasn't as big.
This is one of my favorite parts of this story. Pay attention to this. So here you have the tiny masseuse who's tried to forcibly upsell the undercover detective into sex acts at the massage parlor in Florida.
He couldn't leave. And then she tried to hold him down. This is a big undercover detective, and she might have been 5 foot tall. She wasn't as big as a popcorn fart, and she was trying to hold this man down. A word to the wise: if you don't,
if anything, solid visual. Like that's a popcorn fart. I've never heard that before.
I haven't either, and I've eaten a lot of popcorn, but not once has it ever farted. I mean, things really are different in Florida.
Popcorn tastes weird when you're on bath salts. That's all I'm saying.
I don't get it.
and she might have been 5 foot tall. She wasn't as big as a popcorn fart, and she was trying to hold this man down. A word to the wise: if you don't want to get arrested and have your picture up here on a skin so soft bulletin board, don't do it. Next time, it can be the customers.
So they were just going after the super aggressive upselling masseuses at this tawdry massage parlor, not the customers, because clearly they're the victims in this because they're being held down.
Robert Kraft's going, see, I told you.
I was assaulted. Not my fault.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You can advertise right here inside the Treehouse. Just shoot us an email, treehouseonair@gmail.com. Let us know you'd like to advertise in the show. We can give you a bunch of cool options. treehouseonair@gmail.com to advertise inside the Treehouse. All right. It is Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Let's celebrate some birthdays inside the Treehouse. Ron Artest, who is he still known as Meta World Peace, the former NBA star?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is. He's 45 today. Meta World Peace, formerly known as Ron Artest, is 45. He changed his name years ago. That was after he went into the stands and fought with fans. That's when he took. After that, he went a more peaceful route. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I forgot who told the story about that, but yeah, they were talking about Ron Artest, and after that, what was that? I was in Detroit, but
where most chokings start.
Well, but whatever it was, they all knew. Everyone knew that they had really screwed up, except Ron Artest. It's like he just didn't get it.
No, he probably still doesn't. But he did get that fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looked like Homer Simpson strangling Bart.
I think he also choked a coach, didn't he? Once he choked one of his coaches, I think, as well, or slapped a coach, something like that.
Ah, man, it's hard to keep track with the NBA players.
Yeah.
Other birthdays today. Noah Hathaway turns 53. That is the warrior Atreyu in the Never Ending Story, which obviously, being Gen X, scarred. That movie has scarred us like no others, because one of the saddest, most traumatizing cinematic moments in our lives was when Atreyu's horse died in that muddy bog. I still can't watch that movie because of that. It was terrible. Flying fluffy cocker spaniel and all. Like, that kid was super happy, like, wee, fist pumping in the air. I'm like, what about the horse, bastard? So anyway, the guy that played Atreyu in Neverending Story is 53 today. Gerard Butler, who is the star of the Olympus Has Fallen movies, is 55. He sings a little bit. He was the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera all the way back in like 2000 or 2002, something like that. And he's also known as King Leonidas in 300.
Yes.
Love that movie. That was fun.
Great movie.
This is Sparta. And I'd just like to point out once again, because since it's his birthday and he's 55 today, that Gerard Butler has easily one of the worst lines I have ever heard in a movie. And that was in the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen. Because like in most action franchises, wherever the one main character goes, bad things follow.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he is saving the president. They run from bad guys all the way to a safe house. And when they get there, his safe house has water. And he grabs the water and he hands it to the president. And he tells the president, I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as.
That's the whole line.
That's the line. He hands the president a bottle of water after running blocks through London and says, I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty.
You know, I've always been on the fence about the fact that I haven't seen any of those movies, and you just you confirmed my decision. Thank you, Dan.
You talked him off the fence.
Did I talk you off the White House lawn there?
Yeah.
One line made it to where Trey will never watch those movies again.
I mean,
or ever.
I paused it during the movie, and I'm like, did he say no? So I rewound it, listened to it again. Yep, no, he said it. I'm going to rewind it one more time just to really make sure that it's this absurd. I don't know about you, Mr. President, but I'm thirsty.
Okay. Well, you know, that's when product placement messes up a movie, right? It's just an ad for bottled water, like whatever company that was. I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty. And when I am thirsty, Mr. President, Dasani.
For when you're thirsty is. Actually, I think it's a missed opportunity. It could have been brilliant. Like, it would have been a nice placement for some Perrier. Other birthdays today inside the Treehouse. Jimmy Kimmel is 57. And wow, this is one of those beautiful little Treehouse moments that we didn't plan, but it's coming together nicely. And you guys aren't going to get this probably, but just bear with me for a moment, okay? Mm-hmm. You remember how we were talking earlier about the town in Germany that's being overrun by raccoons so much that they're now cooking them and eating them? Mm-hmm. Steve Zahn is 57 today. Believe it or not, there's a connection there, because there is a movie that Steve Zahn is in. If I remember correctly, it's Saving Silverman.
Okay.
With Jack Black, and I'm brain farting on his name, but the kid that screwed the pie in American Pie.
Jason Biggs.
Yes, Jason Biggs. He's Silverman in the film. In the film, Steve Zahn plays an exterminator, and he is called out to a lady's home to get rid of a pest. And I'm now going to share this with you. This is the tie-in now. You ready? Steve Zahn, 57 today. Watch and enjoy. He has to show up to get rid of a cute and cuddly little raccoon from underneath this lady's house.
Hey, so you're causing all this trouble, huh? Come here. Hey there.
Grabs the raccoon out from underneath the stairs of the lady's home, and he's just, okay, I've saved the day.
Yo!
There's a ferocious beast, huh?
Hey, where's your mommy?
Mommy came up from behind him and is now attached to his head, attacking him. Throws it to the ground, WWE style, and hits it with a dart, with a drink dart from his holster.
Is it dead?
No, but she is in one deep coon coma.
Down two. Did get it. Strong enough dosage. You two are laughing. I never want to hear you complain about my taste in movies ever again. That was fun. And because I've seen so many bad and terrible movies, you got to enjoy that little scene.
But is the whole movie that? Because I would watch that.
I showed you the best part. Just be thankful.
So what we can get out of a 90-second trailer, you spent 2 hours.
They don't put that in the trailer. You got to go looking in the movie for that.
I bet they did.
You're listening to The Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
All sorts of goodies at treehouseonair.com. You can also donate to the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation, benefiting the families of fallen police officers and firefighters killed in the line of duty in North Texas. You can donate now by going to treehouseonair.com for all the ways in which to donate. We appreciate that. It is treehouseonair.com. All right, Trey and Raj, back inside the treehouse. Guys, it turns out that it's really, really hard to hide a strip club. Let's go to Louisville, Kentucky, where the Metro Alcohol Beverage Control Board is cracking down on a business it said is posing as a restaurant when it's actually functioning as a strip club. Louisville Metro ABC said Market Street Bar and Grill was doing business as the Gentleman's Club, the with two E's. And just this week, the Alcohol Control Board in Louisville, Kentucky, revoked the business's liquor license, saying the club violated the city's nudity ordinance. According to detectives, the business's Facebook page is full of posts that display half-dressed women and stripping poles, you know, the kind of thing you'd expect to see at Market Street Bar and Grill. The Facebook page also has flyers talking about parties and a grand opening. But wait, there's more. According to the Louisville Beverage Control Board, state regulations state that a business operating as a restaurant must have 50% of its sales from food and alcohol. But they said there were no servers. There were no tables for dining, no kitchen staff, or even food storage at the Market Street Bar and Grill they say was operating as a strip club. The inspector said there was only one menu which offered pizza, and he found 10 frozen pizzas at the location. I mean, if we're being honest, a frozen Totino's at a strip club sounds pretty good.
That would be delightful. Boobs in a Totino's? Yeah, that's redneck heaven.
Yeah.
That's bring your own Busch Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, throw in some pizza rolls to go with your Tootsie Rolls.
Legs and eggs and some stanky leg. You know how it works. It's good. It's
Just 4 days ago, the club posted an updated menu online that included more food options. I'm hoping for Hot Pockets as reason.
Man, if they served Uncrustables, I'm moving to Louisville. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, I don't want to go to a strip club that has crust.
They cut it off before you get there.
Can you send this back and just have them cut that a little bit? Appreciate it.
I'm not a this, I'm a her. Whatever.
Oh,
It's a little doughy. And the Uncrustables needs to be cooked more.
Jesus. At least it's not crunchy. Oh. Find and follow us on social media at Treehouse On Air. That's at Treehouse On Air across all social media channels. You can also find and follow us individually. For me, it's at the Dan O'Malley. For Trey, it's at Trey Trenholm 1. And for Raj, at Comedian Raj. We'll see you back tomorrow, right here inside the Treehouse.